in Paris?
I let everyone down. Now I'm back. I want people to sit at that table and be sick with longing.
His cooking style is out of date.
I need you to help me kick Vin City's ass. I am going to burn things.
That's good.
Cooking is like sex. You're always headed to the same place, but you gotta find new and dangerous way of getting there.
I mean, never discuss food with you in public.
Burned, October 30th.
Man, the Weinstein Company really wanted you to forget that Chef came out the year before. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. It's the last weekend of October 2015, and I gotta say, we started off this month coming out like a lion, and we're going out like a lamb. The last couple of weeks have not been very good. And, yeah, this is definitely one of those weekends where, yeah, they didn't put out their best stuff here. So we're starting off with Burnt. You have two Michelin star-rated temperamental chef Adam Jones, played by Bradley Cooper, finding his way into working at a London restaurant after a 3-year hiatus, demanding perfection from his staff to strive for a 3rd star. You have a cast that also includes Sienna Miller, Omar Sy, Daniel Bruhl, Matthew Rhys, Alicia Vikander, Uma Thurman, and Emma Thompson. This is directed by John Wells. John Wells, of course, is the guy that you're very familiar with ER, and also Shameless, Third Watch, The West Wing. When it comes to the movies he's directed, though, they do not live up to that echelon in particular. August Osage County and The Company Men are your examples. This is written by Stephen Knight, who previously gave us stuff like Seventh Son and The 100-Foot Journey. But hey, he did Eastern Promises, so he's not the worst, but even he's not the greatest writer here in general. And yeah, it's really hard to judge this movie without judging the fact that Chef had literally just come out the year before, and it was the far superior movie, the Jon Favreau directed movie. And not only that, you also had why am I forgetting the name now? The Bear come out nearly 10 years later, which that show did what this movie's trying to do a whole lot better in terms of a restaurant with a guy who's trying to get it all together, and it just doesn't work overall. And in this movie's case, it's a movie where you really do feel like someone really saw Chef and said, I want to make a much more serious version of it, because that's the way to sell this movie to people. And yeah, it's not that whatsoever. It's a pretty lame, lousy movie. It's not very good. Bradley Cooper's doing the best he can with it overall, but this was not a very good year for him. I mean, after coming after American Sniper, you followed up with Aloha, and then you have this movie, which has Sienna Miller in it too, because she was also an American Sniper. It just didn't work. It just wasn't a very good film, and kind of like with the director of Aloha, Cameron Crowe, this is the last thing that John Wells has directed since then, essentially going back to what has been working for him with television, and hey, it's been working out great for him overall, but this, yeah, this is a hard skip on this one. So let's see if we can turn the tide around with our next movie, and that is Our Brand is Crisis.
In this business, my heroes were politicians and leaders. Did I met them?
Our candidate is very challenging.
How far are you behind?
28 points. Seems like a stuck-up little ass to me.
If you want to win, we're going to have to take risks. Blackmail, manipulation, extortion.
So you're still here? I'm gonna strip the bark off of you, Buddy.
I'll see you out there. This is politics. There's only one wrong, and that is losing.
Our Brand is Crisis starts October 30th.
Speaking of movies that are trying to rip off much better movies, here's a movie that's basically ripping off a film that's not even out yet, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, even though that's not a political comedy. You can definitely tell that this and that are very similar to one another, but yeah, this one doesn't work very well. This is based off of a 2005 documentary film with the same name, and it gives us a fictionalized account of the involvement of an American political campaign strategist played by Sandra Bullock in the 2002 Bolivian presidential election. There's also a cast that includes Scoot McNairy, Billy Bob Thornton, Anthony Mackie, Ann Down, Joaquin de Almeida, Zoe Kazan, and it's directed by David Gordon Green, who had just done Pineapple Express and also Joe, and then he also did Your Highness, The Sitter, written by Peter Stranahan, who would later go on to win an Oscar for writing the screenplay for Conclave, and also wrote Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And overall, this movie is just bland and forgettable, really. I mean, Sandra Bullock is giving in her all in this, and so is Billy Bob Thornton. In fact, Billy Bob Thornton is probably the best thing about this movie that I actually did really enjoy. It's a very good performance by him, and it really is weird to see him with that shaved head. He looks like Corey Stoll a little bit. Well, that's what I thought it was when I first saw it. But no, that's Billy Bob Thornton, and And like I said, he's given it his all in this, but other than that, though, there really isn't anything else about the movie that's unique or intriguing. It's trying to be a political satire and kind of failing at it overall. It's a movie where you really don't have a clear aorta of what they're trying to accomplish here, and it just doesn't work overall. It's a movie where it's just, nah, there's nothing about it that's really that terrible, but there's nothing about it that's really that great either. It's a movie where it's just kind of like, it's there, but there are so many other better movies out there that you could be seeing besides this, and you can tell it's a movie that Warner Brothers really didn't have a whole lot of hope for. That's why they dumped it on the weekend of Halloween, because why would anyone want to go see this type of film on Halloween when you can go see something like a Goosebumps, or hell, The Martian is still playing out in theaters. Why waste your time on those? But, anyway, yeah, that's our Brandeis Crisis. Not a very good week for movies, but it says a lot when our last film, which nobody probably even remembers, just like the other movies, is the far superior movie of the week, and that is, of course, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Whoa. Denise, what's her face? She went to our high school. Now she's a stripper.
Has she been impossible to wear?
Pretty handy.
I'm a scout.
Like an actual scout?
Yeah.
Nice things.
Thanks.
You know, tonight's the secret party, right? Everybody except the douchebags and the neckerchiefs will be going. This could be the night of our lives.
Connor, the town's deserted.
Dude, look. What? The bouncer, he's gone. We should sneak in.
Dude, there's like nobody here.
Don't worry, Mommy, Daddy's here.
Dude, something's wrong with it. Look at her chest.
No, that's makeup, dummy. It's jungle thing. Oh my God! Wait, you're the stripper.
Cocktail waitress.
What is going on?
You think everyone's eating each other?
Like a...
Any more questions?
Okay.
That cat scene alone is pretty much the reason why I love the hell out of this movie. I mean, if you're not hooked in by that point, then quite frankly, I don't know what else to tell you, man. But, this is a horror comedy, sort of in the same vein as a Zombieland or The Evil Dead or even more recently Cooties. We have a reckless janitor who accidentally releases a zombie from a laboratory of research. Meanwhile, the teenage scouts Ben Gowdy and Carter Grant, one of them played by Ty Sheridan, decides to camp for the last time since they are too old to be scouts. The problem is they do not want to harm the feelings of their friend Augie and the scout leader Rogers. They have a flat tire after hitting a deer on the road, and Carter's sister Kendall, her boyfriend and her friend Chloe stop the Jeep to see whether they need a ride. They invite Ben and Carter to go to a party of the night. The two scouts leave the camping during the night to go to the party. When they drive to the town, they do not see a living soul, and they decide to visit a nightclub since the bouncer is not at the door. They discover that the people have turned into zombies, and they team up with Ben's recent acquaintance Denise Russo, who is bartender at the nightclub, and Augie, that was left alone at the camp and came to town. Soon they discover the non-infected inhabitants have been evacuated and the town will be bombed by the government. They decide to rescue Kendall, but they find that the address her boyfriend gave to them is wrong. What can they do to save Kendall? I don't know, that's what this movie's supposed to try to tell you, but here we have a turnaround for the director of this movie, Christopher Landon, who, the last movie we touched on with him was Paranormal Activity, the Mark ones, and let me just say, this is a vast improvement, man, because not only do we have this great movie, but after this, his career would take a huge step in the right direction with Happy Death Day to You and the first Happy Death Day, Freaky, Drop, a really strong slate of movies, and the turnaround really did begin with this movie here. This is a hilarious, well-made movie, man. I was laughing really hard when I saw this for the first time ever. It's a really good movie. It's definitely a lot better than Cooties was earlier in the year, even though I did like Cooties, but I do like the fact that it does feel like an old-school 1980s horror comedy, like something out of Return of the Living Dead. You have a cast that also includes Halston Sage, who was just in Goosebumps, Logan Miller, David Koechner, Cloris Leachman, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Blake Anderson from Workaholics, Lucas Gage. A really fun cast all across the board in this. And like I said, the effects in this movie are hilarious. That cat scene cracks me up every time I see it, man. Like, that scene alone, that's only a little bit of that cat scene in general. Well, it keeps going, and it's one of the funniest things I have ever seen in a horror comedy, man. This is really good stuff here. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I thought it was a ton of fun. I like it, man. I like it a lot. It's a really fun film. It's stupid, yes, but it's the fun type of stupid that you go to a movie like this for. You don't. If you're going to this expecting a smart, serious zombie comedy, clearly you're in the wrong place, man, because this movie is not that, but it's fun all across the board. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I can't recommend this one enough. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. It's a movie that's destined to become a cult classic, and if it hasn't done it by this point, then hopefully it will be soon, man, because, man, what a great movie this is. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Easily the best thing we have this weekend, but then again, that's really not saying a whole lot. And on that note, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. Halloween is over, and you know what that means. The holiday movie season is upon us, baby. November kicks off on our next episode, and we finally get to the good movies once again. After we take a look at one of the worst James Bond movies ever, Daniel Craig once again returning in Spectre, but then we will follow it up with a much better movie in the Peanuts movie from 20th Century Fox and Blue Sky Studios, a thing that you probably would not think would go together, but lo and behold, it did, and actually was a game changer for how we see some computer-animated movies since then. We'll talk about more of that later on, but we also have the year's Best Picture winner, that is Spotlight. Whether or not it deserves the Best Picture award is questionable, but is it a good movie? We'll touch on that on the next episode. We'll also take a look at Saoirse Ronan starring in Brooklyn, which is another awards contender film, and we also have Bryan Cranston starring as Dalton Trumbo in Trumbo. And is that it? I believe that is it. I don't see any other movies worth noting here, so we've got 5 movies overall to take a look at next time around to kick off the month of November, and we will do that coming up tomorrow on the show, so be on the lookout for that. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.